What's up, everybody? Laser Beam of Truth here. Currently in the process of racking my first batch of homebrewed beer. It's been fermenting in this fermenting bucket for 5.5 days, almost 6 days. I brewed it last Thursday, and it's currently Tuesday, approaching the evening. But anyways, this isn't actually what I'm writing about, but this is going to take me about a half an hour, and I thought, well, I think I've got a video that I'd like to whip out real quick here. So let me get right to it. One thing a lot of people have spent a lot of time talking about is how they're going to feed themselves in an SHTF scenario. And of course, everybody's probably got fishing gear. I've got a little bit of fishing gear. I'm not a crazy fisherman. I'm not one of these guys that's got to go out all the time. I got a brother that's an absolute fishing lunatic. The guy fishes every waking moment that his wife doesn't require him to be at home. But let me tell you, the guy gets plenty of kitchen passes to spend the day out fishing. He likes to river fish, but I do have a few fishing poles here, and I just kind of wanted to illustrate a little point here. We've got all this gear. By the way, those are lights. I'll tell you about what those do in a different video. String, more string, lures. I got a tackle box, of course. But all this stuff in an SHTF scenario, if you did have to bug out, for example, it's going to be pretty useless. I mean, what are you going to do? Take a bunch of fishing poles with you? Of course not. You're not going to be able to do that. If you look back into history in the ancient times, they didn't have graphite fishing poles. They didn't have fly rods. They didn't have synthetic worms that wiggle and twist. They didn't have rapalas. They didn't have monofilament fishing line. They didn't have any of this stuff. They just had one simple thing: a fishing net. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk to you about today. It's not a very big investment. I think I got my fishing net for I think I got it off eBay for about $30 several years ago when I was making a trip to the Florida Keys. I was going to do some fishing down in the Keys, and I wanted a fishing net so that I could catch some bait fish. However, there is you can catch big fish with these fishing nets, larger fish. Of course, if you had a bunch of bait fish, you can still eat those. You just have to get a bunch more of them, and that's exactly what these nets are designed to do. What this net is I believe it's a 9-foot circular casting net. Okay, you basically undo this rope. This rope is something that you take this and you put it around your hand like that, and then when you cast, you throw it out, and it takes some practice. It's something you want to practice in your backyard, maybe off your deck. But let's say, for example, the SHTF does happen, okay, and you've got some local bodies of water that you can go to. There's fish there, but I tell you what, the funny thing about fish is that you can always find fish in the water. It's a totally different story about being able to get them to bite, though. I've been a fisherman for pretty much my whole life. I grew up spending my summers on a lake in mid-Michigan, and I did a lot of bluegill fishing and bass fishing. My favorite food to this day in the summertime, nothing beats a big old pan fried up of bluegills. I mean, I just love bluegills. They're probably the best eating fish in fresh water that I can think of. But they don't always bite. Some days you go out there and you'll see a bunch of bluegills on their bed, but they're not biting. They're not doing anything. They're worried about breeding, or they're worried about other things. But that's why a fishing net can be an absolute life-saving device, and it doesn't cost much money. And once you've got a net like this and you learn how to use it, you could easily go out and in a couple of hours you could find yourself in possession of a whole bucket full of fish that you can eat without ever having to cast a line into the water, without having to know anything about actual fishing. This is a much simpler way of doing things, because all you have to do is take this net and throw it. I'm going to kind of undo it here. See, that's what we have. Got weights on the bottom, and then it's got this little thing on top which has a big monofilament deal. And when you cast it out, it ends up in a ball like this, and then you pull it back in, and of course all the fish are inside at that point in time. But anyways, I just, the more I actually, this thing has been in my closet for about 4 years, ever since I got done with that trip. It looks like my beer is doing pretty good. Getting there. Well, I got done with that trip, and I just set this thing in my closet, and I thought it was pretty cool. I just didn't want to get rid of it. And as things progress in the future here, I look at this and I think, man, that thing could really come in handy someday. Because all you have to do is chuck it into the water a few times, make sure you get a good spin on it to expand it, to get its full diameter expanded, and you've got yourself a really, really useful fish catching device without having to carry a pole. This packs right up into that little bag that I had here. Actually, it's an old Penn reels bag that I got with a Penn International 50 reel that I don't have anymore. But I had lost this bag, and then I found it again after I had sold the reel. And so anyways, long story short, now I've got this bag, and I use it to put it inside this net. But you could put that inside your bug out bag, and you could take this with you pretty much anywhere. And let's say you're hiking along and you come up upon a stream and there's trout running. Trout are notorious fish for, they'll be there, but they won't bite, But if you've got a net like this, boy, I tell you what, you got a trout sitting on a, foot and a half deep stream with water flowing by, and he's just sitting there nose into the stream. All you gotta do is throw this net on him and you'll have a trout for dinner. So I just wanted to point this out. I think this would be an absolute life-saving device in an SHTF scenario because it's so simple, and fishermen have used these types of devices, nets, since before the Bible was written. I mean, thousands of years. For thousands of years, the only type of fishing there was fishing with nets. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there for you. A lot of people, they think they got to have all this high-tech gear and device to be able to survive in an SHTF scenario. And I'm just kind of pointing this out to kind of maybe open your mind a little bit as to a device that you can procure. I guarantee you can go on eBay right now and find a 9 or 6 or 8 or 10-foot casting net off of eBay used for under $100. Probably maybe even under $50. I think I got this for $40 plus some shipping. It wasn't much at all. But anyways, take it for what you will. Laser beam of truth. Signing out.